Howdy folks, I'm Brian, and here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Helping More with Thanksgiving? I'm a 31-year-old male, and I have a wife who's 29, and we have a 7-month-year-old baby. My parents came to us for Thanksgiving dinner this year. My wife made a great spread. As we were about to eat, the baby started fussing. He has been teething. I told my wife that she should go to attend him, but she asked if I would because she hadn't had anything to eat all day because she was trying to take care of the baby, cook everything, and try to visit with my parents, and she would really like a warm meal since it had been a while since she had one. I said it would be really rude to my parents to sit down without me, since in my family, the hosting family member was always at the table with the guests. My wife again asked me to please go, but I was annoyed and said no. I could tell my wife was irritated, but she went to our baby. I was thinking we'd wait for her to return, but my dad said he was starving and everything looked fantastic, so I told him to dig in. My wife seemed to be having a really hard time to get her son to settle down, but she always has the magic touch when it comes to him, so I left it to her. By the time he was content and quiet again, we had finished, and we had already moved into the other room. I had left everything on the table, and when I went back around, she was feeding the baby. I said she should probably clean up once she was done, and really coldly asked me when exactly she was supposed to eat. I was taken by surprise, and I asked what she was on about. And she told me that she still hadn't had anything to eat, and I had left a mess instead of at least taking the used dishes to the sink, and she knew it was very much to think I'd actually bother to make a plate for her too. I got irritated and told her that she was being dramatic and that we were hosting, and I thought it was more important to spend time with my parents. She said I was the one who invited my parents over, but I left her to do everything. I said that wasn't true, but she asked me to name just one thing I'd done to help her, and I was put on the spot and I couldn't think of something, so she said exactly. I got pretty angry, but my mom then came in and asked if she could feed the baby. My wife said yes and then started making herself a plate so that she could eat. My mom was upset with me when she realized that my wife still had not eaten. So now my wife and my mom are mad at me. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly why I'm a jerk for making sure that my parents were attended to since we had them over. And your wife couldn't have attended to your parents? I mean, okay, this has to be a troll. This has to be a troll, right? Because, you had your wife prepare this meal for your parents. She didn't get anything to eat. She asked you pretty please to go and take care of the baby. But instead of doing that, you neglected her. You didn't even, get up halfway through your meal to, rotate with her. There's any number of things you could have done here to basically help your wife take care of the child. And instead of taking care of the child, you basically used the excuse that your parents were over to shirk your responsibilities. Your wife took care of the meal. She fed the baby. She was working on, hosting your parents, and you basically are like, oh, well, I was just trying to take care and host my parents. So, yeah, no, of course you're a jerk here. The fact that your own mother isn't standing behind you here should tell you something. This is insane. Your parents are adults. They can care for themselves. They're going to be pretty understanding that you have a baby to care for. They don't need you to babysit them. You're the jerk. Are you seriously this stupid to not realize why, or are just a troll? And someone else says, gotta be a troll. I don't want to believe someone could be this big of a jerk. Let me get this straight. Your wife did all the cooking and preparation for this dinner, pushed out your child, but you're over here eating a hot meal and flapping your gaping maw about hosting an event. Get over yourself, help raise your child, clean a dish every now and again, and grow some thoughtfulness and appreciation for your wife. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for getting my daughter something she apparently doesn't like for her birthday? I didn't think this was a big deal, honestly. I feel like she should have let me know what kind of stuff she likes if it was such a big deal, but apparently it is, so I am here. It was my daughter's birthday recently, and I had no clue what to get her, but I noticed that she didn't have a coffee maker, so I thought it would be cute to get her a little coffee set. I got her some coffee cups, a coffee maker, some flavored syrups, and a few flavors of coffee to make. I thought it was a cute, nice gift, and I know that I would have been happy if someone did that for me. She just gave me a bit of a half-hearted smile and said thank you, which kind of upset me, but I brushed it off. Well, my father called me and fussed at me. Apparently she hates coffee. And when they asked her what I gave her, she laughed about it and said something like, "I guess my mother doesn't really know anything about me." He said I should have known at least some stuff about my own daughter, that I'm always getting her stuff that she hates. I'm always getting her nice stuff. She doesn't ever really say anything about it, but I guess according to him, it's stuff that she hates. I complained to my boyfriend about it, and he said it kind of was a jerk move to always get stuff that she didn't like and not pay enough attention to her to know any of her interests. I don't think that she's ever given many hints to them, though. I just try and get whatever I think would be a nice present. So am I a jerk? So I guess the old phrase, "it's the thought that counts," comes to mind. It's if you think that someone honestly wants something and will appreciate it, then I mean, that is a gift that came from the heart. But the real question is, why do you not know your daughter well enough that you can get her a gift? Either one, she's a really hard person to get gifts for, which is understandable. Some people are. And that's not to say like everyone's an easy person to get gifts for. Or you just haven't really figured out who she is or what things she likes. There was probably a reason why she didn't have a coffee maker or a coffee set. And if you haven't ever seen her drink coffee around you, then that might have been a good cue to kind of think about, like, oh, you know, I've never seen my daughter actually drink coffee. Maybe she doesn't like coffee. I think that you probably had good intentions here, and it's hard to say that you're that much of a jerk, but I do think that if your daughter really feels like you aren't getting her gifts that she appreciates, that maybe you should learn what kind of things that your daughter does appreciate and not get her gifts that she doesn't want. You're the jerk. She literally is your child. How do you not know that she doesn't like coffee? I mean, come on. The biggest hint is that she doesn't drink it and doesn't have a coffee maker. If she liked coffee, she'd have a cheap coffee pot like most people who like coffee. You ought to take the time to try and get to know your daughter a little better. It's kind of you to get her a gift, but it's clear to me that you don't really know her as a person. Info: how old exactly is your daughter? And why have you never just asked her, "Hey, what do you want for your birthday? I know I've messed up in the past, but I want to make it right this time." For now, you're the jerk for constantly getting her bad presents that she hates. Yeah, I mean, that was actually probably some good solid advice there. Ask your daughter what she wants for her birthday so that this doesn't happen anymore. Our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for getting my girlfriend a thong for her birthday?" My girlfriend's birthday was the other day, so obviously I had, and wanted to, get her a birthday gift. I was thinking about it, and I decided that I would get her a nice thong. She likes thongs, and she was going to get a more typical birthday gift from other people. This would be a gift that I could only really get for her. So I got her a really nice G-string thong that I thought she would like. I ordered it secretly and put it in a box with birthday decorations on it. Fast forward to her birthday party. We're all having a great time, and it becomes time to give her gifts. Everyone is giving her nice typical birthday presents. You know, nice pictures to put up, gift cards, nice wines. We get to mine, and she opens it up, and her face turns red. Her mother nearly drops her drink and is like, "Ay, Deus moi." People are laughing a bit, or jokingly whistling. I thought it was a nice present, and the funny reaction made it a memorable birthday gift. She says thanks before quickly putting it away. We get in the car to leave about 2 hours later, and she lets me know that she was upset, saying that I humiliated her in front of everybody. I tell her that people were laughing with her, not at her. She's like, "You got me an adult actor thong for my birthday in front of my mom." I tell her to chill out and that it wasn't that big of a deal. Now she's accusing me of saying, "You got the thong for yourself." Not true. I mean, yeah, I would love to see her in it, but she also wears thongs, and I thought women liked wearing attractive underwear. We argue the entire ride home with her defending her point and me defending mine. Safe to say, I did not get to see her in the thong that night or ever since. Am I a jerk? Your girlfriend probably didn't want to open that present in public, and I can't blame her. This is kind of an intimate gift. This isn't really a public gift, and it seems like a poor time to give it to her. This is kind of the kind of gift that you would give her after the party when you two are home, and you would say, oh, guess what? I got you a little bit of an extra gift, instead of saying, oh, here's a gift in front of everyone. Just judging from everyone's reactions, you can tell that it's an unusual gift to get somebody, and she clearly didn't want that part of her life exposed. To kind of address the point where she says that this gift was more about you, I would be kind of inclined to agree about that, just by your statement right here. Safe to say, I did not get to see her in that thong that night or ever since. Am I the jerk? If this was more for her, then I don't know that you would even have written that, because this seems like something you're saying like, oh, well, I thought I was going to be able to see her in it. To me, that seems more like a present to yourself than to her. Just some food for thought there. You're the jerk. Why would you ever think that was appropriate to give in front of others? All right, let's move on to our last story. Am I a jerk for telling my son to start dressing normally when my uncle comes to stay with us? My wife and I have a 16-year-old son who we'll just be referring to as Jay for this post. Jay is a good kid, he does well in school, and he helps us with household chores and has always been very happy. For the past few years, he's been very drawn to androgynous and feminine clothing. He would rather wear a pair of skinny jeans and girl sweaters or long, almost dress-like shirts. He's also grown his hair out a couple years back, and though he keeps it short on the back and the sides, it's very obviously a feminine haircut. I have also noticed that when I've overheard him talking with his friends, they all seem to be calling him a feminine version of his name: Heath, Heather, Lawrence, Lori, Jack, Jackie, etc. This does not bother me in the slightest. As long as my son is happy and is not hurting anyone, then I am happy to let him do whatever he wants and whatever he is comfortable with. However, this is where the problem begins. My uncle, Jay's great uncle, has to move in with us for a couple of weeks. He's getting construction done in his home and will not be able to stay there until it's done. He is very set in his ways. He's a very typical men should be working and women should be at home with the kids type of man. We were never particularly close, and a large part of this was due to his extremely outdated beliefs. But no one else can take him in, and it's only for a few weeks. After that, we can go back to keeping him at an arm's length. I sat down with my wife and son and mentioned that Jay should probably dress normally and just stick to wearing jeans and a t-shirt instead of his preferred clothing while my uncle is staying with us. I also brought up the nickname and asked him if he could ask his friends to call him by his real name in case my uncle overhears and starts asking questions. It was all just to avoid confrontation. He's already a bitter man. I don't want to give him any reasons to complain. Jay agreed, but I could tell he was unhappy. My wife thinks I'm being a jerk, asking our son to change his style of clothing to accommodate my uncle. I think that she was over-exaggerating a little, and it's only for a few weeks, and then Jay can go back to his other clothes. I just don't want the house to be tense all the time while he's here. Reddit, am I a jerk? So, your Uncle Jay has no place to go, and you're not particularly close with him. And you want your child to change fundamentally who they are and to act like a normal person around your uncle so that your uncle doesn't ask questions and make your life situation uncomfortable. Your uncle is a guest in your house, and your child is living in your house. And while you say you don't care what they do, this sends a very mixed message. It makes it sound like you do care, and it makes it sound like you might be embarrassed by this. And it makes it sound like you aren't being supportive of your child's needs. I would suggest letting your uncle leave the house if they are that uncomfortable with it. And if they don't have any place to go, then that's really on them. If they start causing problems, then they can find a new place to live. You don't have to accommodate your uncle, and neither does your child. Your child is able to make their own decisions and has decided what kind of person they want to be and has decided what kind of style of clothing and what kind of things they want to wear and how they want to present themselves. So I think that you are very much in the wrong here, and I think that you shouldn't be afraid of people like this uncle. And I think that you should, if your uncle, again, has problems with the way your child presents themselves or acts, then they can go find another place to live, like a hotel. So yeah, you're a jerk. Don't do this to your child. You're the jerk. You say that you accept your son's choices, but then you tell him to change who he is for a family member that you don't even like. It's simple. If your uncle doesn't like how your son dresses, he can find somewhere else to stay. Yeah. You're the jerk. Hardcore. Why in the world are you prioritizing your uncle's feelings over your child's identity? If your uncle has a problem with your child, he can find some other place to stay. That's his problem, not yours. Parenting involves standing up for your kid. I think this is a great comment to leave on. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you didn't, consider telling me why in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. And I know I would have been happy